Hello.
Hi, Katie. Welcome. I'm Stacy Zion. I'm your host for the session. How are you this afternoon?
Stacy, I'm not hearing you if you're speaking.
Can anyone else hear me? Cheryl or Eva or Mike or Joy? Okay, so Katie.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, all right, great.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Did you inhale your lunch in that brief lunch break?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So we'll get started here. We've got a few minutes yet, but as you are doing your
Just a couple minutes.
presentation, how would you like to handle questions? Do you want them to put it in the chat or raise their hand or just unmute and ask?
I think the audio is cutting in and out. I think you're talking and I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay, let's try it again. I'm not sure if it's audio on my end, my microphone. Does anybody else hear me breaking up?
Now you sound great to me, but I
Okay.
saw, but I didn't hear anything until just a second ago.
Okay. How would you like to handle questions? Chat or have them unmute?
Chat is great. And then maybe at the end, we can have people unmute and ask them. But if there are questions that come in during the presentation, they can just go into the chat. I'm going to save at least 15 minutes at the end for questions and discussion.
Okay, so you don't want me to interrupt your presentation with their questions in the chat, just save them to the end.
Again, I'm not hearing you now.
Oh,
Christine, can you hear Stacy, or is the audio cutting in and out, or is it just me?
I can hear Stacy.
Yeah, I'm going to leave and come back in because my audio is not working.
okay.
You all are cutting in and out.
Hi, Stacy. I'm Christine Wells. I am Katie's partner. I'm here to kind of help support too with any questions or things like that.
Okay, great. Welcome. So glad both of you could join us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here on behalf of New Readers Press Pro Literacy.
Great. Looks like we've got lots of people in the waiting room.
Our other channel partner looks like he just joined as well, and that's Dan Helms. Hi, Dan.
I need to make you and Katie when she gets back in. There we go. I've just made you a co-host, so you'll be able to share your screen.
I guess you didn't hear me say hello, Christine. I was on mute. Sorry.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Katie's going to be the primary presenter. Again, I'm just supporting her, and we're presenting on behalf of New Readers Press Pro Literacy today. And Dan's our partner here.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that Dan could join us too.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy it's Friday.
Isn't everybody? Have you ever heard anybody say they're not happy it's Friday? Okay. I haven't seen Katie come back to the waiting room yet, but as soon as she does, I will let her in. Oh, there she is. Sometimes it's like Beetlejuice, right? Okay. And I'm going to make Katie is now also a co-host. So Katie, you should be able to share your screen now as well.
Stacey, are you able to hear me okay without it breaking up at all?
Yeah. I can hear you fine.
Christine, can you hear me?
I can,
Because
Katie.
not getting audio from anyone. I don't know if it's Zoom or what the problem is, but as long as you all can hear me, I can present and then I can handle questions in the chat. I've gone and come out. I'm not sure what else to do. I don't know what's going on with the audio.
I can ask Patrick to send you a audio link to call in by phone if that works.
Yeah, that's great. And then I can hear what's going on.
Okay.
But your voice, Katie, is very strong.
Oh, okay. So it's fine. I can just do it this way and you all can just, I think it's going to be less confusing to do the presentation if you can hear me and then you can chat in questions and maybe I'll call in afterwards and listen to people unmute.
Okay. That works for us.
Are we all here and ready to go?
It kind of looks like it. Might be a few late joiners, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and open up with our welcome to Katie and her partners, Christine and Dan. And thank you so much for being able to join us today. And thank you to our MACAE members and participants in our Spring Institute. We hope you're having a great experience in the Spring Institute. Although I have to admit, even I can't wait until we can get back to face-to-face meetings. But until then, we do what we do, right? So just a couple of housekeeping reminders. You can access these sessions from the MACAE website. They'll be posted as YouTube videos probably starting next week. And let's see. The presentation materials will also be made available to you. Don't forget to check your email for the sketch form and submit that at the end of today's entire day. So all of the session evaluations go on one form. If you were also in our sessions yesterday, you can turn that in today as well at the end of the conference day. And we do encourage you to be on camera. It just kind of helps create that community of learning that we so much enjoy. And any questions you have, if you put them in the chat box, we will save some time at the end of the presentation and Katie will be able to answer them then. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and get started and welcome Katie and Christine and Dan. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. I hope you can hear me okay. We're talking about one of my favorite topics today, which is how to help immigrants, refugees, and speakers of other languages with the English skills and digital literacy skills they need for integration and to get jobs with the potential for family. So my name is Katie Brown. I'm the founder and chief education officer of EnGen. We are a web and mobile platform, a public benefit company, and our whole mission is to remove English as a barrier for immigrants and refugees. A little bit about me, my background is in working with language learners. My PhD is in second language acquisition. I've been working with speakers of other languages in the United States for about 25 years, and I spent about 10 years building and designing technology that I will talk to you about today that helps us help learners at scale. So the first thing we need to talk about is the fact, and it's funny that you started, Stacey, by talking about getting back to in-person meetings. Everyone is excited about doing that, but the truth is that learning has moved online. This was happening before the pandemic. COVID-19 sped things up a bit, but it means that we have new and more flexible educational models, that people are more open to using technology to reach learners who are separated by space and time. But, and this is a big but, the National Skills Coalition estimates that 40% of English learners have zero digital skills. And what this means is that all of this work to make learning available online in more flexible formats needs to include the needs of speakers of other languages who often will need some help to get digital skills and English skills at the same time. Because the future of work is here. This is an estimate from the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the most popular jobs that we will have in the next 10 years. You can see there's a focus on renewable energy, on healthcare, and on data and technology. And all of these jobs are going to require not only English skills, but also technology skills. So these two things are inextricably linked. Because digital skills are now not just a prerequisite for learning, we're preparing a workforce for jobs that are all going to require technology. So how do we do that? Well, we do it by having digital needs assessments, figuring out where learners are in digital skill acquisition. We do it with mobile only training because most learners are going to have access and be comfortable with a mobile device, even when they're not comfortable with a computer. We need to do it with comprehensive digital literacy courses that start with learners' needs. We need to integrate education and training because we need to include digital skills with technology skills, with English skills, with career skills, so that we can actually create career pathways for the jobs of the future. And I'll go through and talk about how we do all of these things. Here's an example, though, of a learner using a mobile device to learn how to use a computer. In this course, learners are getting the basics of computer hardware, operating systems, and software. They're learning how to use email and navigate the internet safely. They're becoming familiar with the computer and various types of operating systems, and they're doing it all from their phones, which means they can learn about how to use the computer and get comfortable with a computer without needing to do it on a computer. And this is a big piece of working with learners with low levels of literacy in English and low levels of digital literacy, making the barrier to entry very low. And you can see that on a mobile device, learners can learn the various words for parts of a computer. They can get support in their first language. They can listen to what the various computer parts are. And this is all part of building their digital literacy and their English skills at the same time. And if we do that, if we start with English for digital literacy, then we can work towards beginner business skills, writing work emails, handling phone calls and meetings and presentations in a technology mediated way. And then we can even move to remote work, how to have virtual meetings, how to attend a virtual conference, what to do with different types of web conferencing software. So we can move people into career pathways that all will require those types of technological skills for careers in customer service, IT help desk support, manufacturing, patient care and support, digital marketing, software engineering, data science, entrepreneurship, and the list goes on and on. Every single career field I can think of is going to require that learners have both digital skills and English skills. So we want to integrate them as much as possible and make them relevant to learners' real world needs. And that is a move towards competency-based instruction. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why competency-based instruction makes particular sense when we're thinking about digital skills and English skills. And the first is in that word skill. Learning a language requires acquiring a skill, not studying a content area. It's much closer to learning how to weld or to offer IT help desk support than it is to studying something like math, because what we're teaching people to do is use language to do something else. There are a few key requirements for language learning that everyone in the whole world agrees on, even when they disagree about exactly how to implement them. In order to learn a new language, learners need access to input, which means they need lots of examples of reading the language and listening to the language and listening to people use the language. They need the opportunity to use the language to do something real. They need opportunities to interact with other people, with technology, and they need feedback. And you can imagine all of those language skills can be integrated with digital skills at the same time. Because the right thing is different for everyone, we want to make sure that we're not teaching with a one-size-fits-all approach. We want to offer training that is relevant and interesting to learners, that's at the right proficiency level, and that ties to their real-world goals. And the framework that we use to do this is task-based language teaching. It's the most effective approach to adult language learning. It's been established over the last 6 decades as the most effective and practical way to help adults, because what you're offering them is relevant and contextualized content from the real world that's tied to their needs. And so in this case, we are using technology to solve a problem, which is letting us differentiate instruction and offer learners integrated English skills with other real world skills like digital literacy. I think we've had a few people come into the presentation a few minutes late, which is fine. If you have any questions as I'm going along, please feel free to put them in the chat. I will save time at the end to answer questions, and I want to make sure we capture comments and questions as we're going along. Investing in English skills and digital literacy skills at the same time not only enables workers for job placement, for promotion, for advancement, it helps improve workplace communication, productivity, confidence, and engagement, because digital skills and English skills are critical for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. And this means that we need to sort of rethink our instructional model. We're moving away from a linear approach to language learning, and we're trying something that is more tailored to learners' real world needs. So here are 4 ways that we can rethink the instructional model that will include English skills, digital skills, and workplace skills at the same time. I'm going to go through each one. One of them is self-paced and autonomous English classes. Another is offering a flipped classroom for multi-level learners. Another is self-paced English classes with mandatory lab hours. And a fourth is really truly integrated IET, which is integrated education and training. So when I talk about self-paced autonomous ESL programs, here's a sample scenario. We have Rosa, and she's a high beginner in English, and she wants to begin a CNA program. So she uses a platform to improve her English skills focused on allied healthcare for 2 months. It's a technology mediated approach. She's able to work at her own pace. Her level improves to intermediate. She enrolls in a CNA program and continues to use the self-paced platform for support. This approach lets learners work at their own pace on content that's relevant to what it is they want to do in the workplace, and it integrates digital skills via a technology-mediated platform, workplace skills, and English all at the same time. So each learner's experience will be unique. Another scenario is where you have a instructor-led program and teachers are using learner data to drive in-class activities, and then learners move out of class as they demonstrate competency. So in this scenario, learners would enroll in a workplace ESL class. And outside of class, learners would work on personalized practice via a technology-mediated tool that's tied to their level, it's tied to their interests, and it's tied to their goals. So learners with lower levels of digital literacy would start with a digital literacy pathway. Learners with higher levels of digital literacy would start working right away on things like writing workplace emails or the sector-specific English they needed for careers in manufacturing or allied healthcare or the automotive industry. All of that's happening for learners working on their own out of class. And then inside of class, instructors will take all of that data to drive productive activities, organizing learners into small groups based on their interest, having learners work together on common problems, having learners help each other with technology-mediated tasks in the classroom. And then learners can move out of that class and into career and technical education programs tied to their interests and goals as they demonstrate competency. So as their level of digital literacy improves, as their level of English improves, they can move from inside this supported classroom environment, focusing on English skills and digital skills, to sector-specific training programs, getting them the credentials they need for these careers. Another model is self-paced English, but with mandatory lab hours. So here's an example. We have another high beginner in English who wants to begin an IT career. He's using a platform to improve his English skills focused on IT careers for 12 weeks, but he has mandatory open lab hours where he can check in with an instructor on his progress and he can practice his English. His level improves to intermediate, and then he enrolls in an IT help desk program, continuing to use the platform for support. This is sort of a hybrid between the completely autonomous self-paced program and a program that has required class time. Learners get support from a language lab here, but that's based around everything they're doing on their own. And then the final model is enrolling learners in a career or credential program, but using personalized English instruction to support their learning outside of the program. So imagine learners enrolling in an IT help desk certificate program. These are learners who have the digital literacy skills they need to enter, who have the English skills they need to enter, but they still need support. So outside of class, they're working on personalized English lessons that are tied to the course content and objectives. They have access to an ESL teacher for synchronous or asynchronous support, and they complete this IT help desk certificate program while also improving their English skills. So those are 4 different examples of how you can take self-paced, technology-mediated content and integrate it in an instructional model to get immigrants, refugees, and speakers of other languages the skills they need quickly to get into career training programs. And we need to do it. Adult education programs across the country are losing enrollments, but employers are searching for workplace-based programs, which presents a real opportunity for adult education programs, especially using any of these models, which rely on using technology and integrating digital skills with English skills with workplace skills. Right now, there are over 10 million jobs for the 8.4 million unemployed adults in the United States. We have 2 million highly skilled immigrants in the US who are either unemployed or underemployed because English skills are a barrier to getting employment that takes advantage of the skills and credentials they bring from their home countries. Workplaces across the country are eager for training programs that can help with recruitment, retention, productivity, collaboration, and satisfaction. And they're turning to adult education providers to help them with these programs, but they need to leverage a tool that can give learners self-paced, sector-specific, personalized practice with digital skills, English skills, and workplace skills at the same time. And that's where EnGen comes in. We have access to on-ramps in a huge variety of career pathways in growth sectors with new content added daily. So learners can get personalized English instruction that's tied to the language and tasks needed for careers in allied healthcare, in manufacturing, in retail settings, in customer service, for IT help desk support, data science, software engineering, entrepreneurship, and more. I have a few here. Learners will get not only the English skills they need for general industry safety, but they will also improve their technology skills and their general English skills all at the same time. Just in the last year, we added 21 pathways with content relevant to learners' real-world needs. Everything from English skills for HVAC maintenance to the automotive industry, to early childhood education, to entrepreneurship, and then digital literacy and literacy skills for learners who have 0 English skills. All of these are available in a mobile-first, mobile-friendly way so that learners can get the help that they need at their level on content that's relevant to their needs and goals. The whole point of this technology is that it's built to help upskill and empower language learners for the jobs of the future. And then the big question is, how do we know it works? Well, we continuously measure what happens in the platform to make sure it works. But the best way to show that it works is to look at whether or not learners can show that they have the skills that they're trying to get. So we look at proficiency assessment and pathway completion. We look at achievement test scores. We look at whether or not learners are able to handle the coursework in the career and credential programs that they're transitioning into. We look at whether or not they're able to complete a credential or relicensing. And we look at job placement with advancement potential. Learners need English skills and digital skills, not as an end of them to themselves. They need them because they're required to do other things. So we want to make sure that the programs we support and work with are able to measure those other things. I wanted to talk a little bit about a competency-based program that's been very successful in the state of Virginia, which helps learners get digital instruction and career-focused English skills at the same time. So learners start with a 2-hour per week digital commitment. They're in a blended model where they are working with an ESL teacher and they have access to EnGen's platform where they're getting English skills integrated with digital skills and career-focused skills. They then get into career boot camps where they're focused on not just the English skills they need for careers in logistics, healthcare, and IT, but also the general academic skills they need to succeed in career and credential programs, the technology skills they need to succeed in those programs. Those boot camps last anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. And as learners get them, they transfer out of them and into the local community college. This program has worked really well because it can take learners with very low levels of literacy, with very low levels of digital literacy, or learners who have high levels of training in their home countries, but low levels of English here. And because it's based on a personalized approach to giving learners skills, they're able to very quickly get what they need and move into career and credential programs. And this model of boot camp style training works really well for this. I wanted to talk a little bit about evidence of success. Here's a sneak preview of impact data that's coming out in our upcoming impact report. But what we do is we assess our learners to figure out how well the platform has helped them with their real world goals. And you can see that 80% of them say that it's helped them in the workplace, 60% reporting improved workplace communication, 30% reporting pay raises, promotions, and job offers. 24% are more likely to stay in the jobs they have now. 11% are able to access additional career training, and 3% are able to do other things in the workplace that they didn't let us know about. And our learners and our stakeholders, our adult education partners and workplace partners are citing the benefits as well, with workers who are getting promoted, with learners who are able to improve their English because it's and able to demonstrate that it can help them with not just their workplace goals, but also their integration goals. So 90% of our learners report that the platform helped them with their real world goals, such as communication, making friends, engaging in the local community, helping family with schoolwork, civic engagement. And here are just a few examples. It's giving me the confidence I need to do my daily tasks. I'm able to understand native speakers. I can take my parents to the doctor. I can speak to the doctor now. All of these real world tasks are integrated into the platform so that when learners are working on English skills, they're able to get the skills they need to accomplish their real world goals. So to recap what we've talked about today, digital literacy is a critical issue for working with adult learners, especially adult learners who have limited English skills. Instruction is moving online, which is great, and it's blended, which is great, which improves access. But along with technology-mediated instruction, we see the need to make sure that our learners have the digital literacy skills they need to take advantage of this technology. And it's more than just being able to take advantage of the technology for instruction. We know that the jobs of the future are going to require technology and the ability to use it. And we need to make sure that we're preparing learners for those jobs so that they can access careers that have family-sustaining wages. Integrating digital literacy with English skills addresses two issues at once. And the best way to think about offering programs like this is to do it in a way that is competency-based. So learners can be met wherever they are with the tools and resources that will help them as efficiently and effectively as possible get digital skills and get English skills at the same time. I think I maybe have a couple questions. No, I have some updates from Dan in the chat, but if there are any questions, I would love to answer them if anybody would like to put them into the chat. And I also wanted to mention a great program that the Office of Global Michigan and the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity are putting together for digital ESL. And there's information here for how to access the program and how to get more information. So I have that up on the screen as well for anyone who's interested. So there's a question here about difficulty with student attendance. And this is a great question, and it comes up all the time with technology mediated learning and distance learning. And so I want to address it in two parts. The first is that we don't have, and when I say we, I mean we as a country, we don't have great benchmarks for what attendance in technology mediated programs should look like, because there's very little historical data about technology mediated programs that are not MOOCs. And we know those have horrible attendance. Like the completion rate is less than 5% for a massively open online course. When you're thinking about taking a model that traditionally met face-to-face and you're putting it online and making it blended, we can see whether or not learners are coming into the online classroom. We can see whether or not they attend Zoom sessions. And so we have a much clearer picture of who's actually engaged than we do when we're working with learners face-to-face. And they might come sit in class, but we don't know if they're paying attention and we don't know what they're doing. So I think the first issue is that we're comparing apples to oranges when we're thinking about what is a good attendance rate. The second issue is that learners need support to use technology mediated instruction, and it works best when they have access to somebody who can help them. So what we find is that if learners have the ability to access a coach or a mentor or a peer or a supervisor or a teacher who can help them when they have questions and help make sure they understand how to use the technology and how to get help for the technology, we see much better attendance and engagement than when learners are just simply given a tool and told to go use it. Hopefully that helped answer the question. So the next question is EnGen and app. EnGen is, we have a web app and we have a mobile app, and learners can access it through the web, or they can access it through native apps for iOS and Android. And then another question, which is how does this compare to Voxy? So that's a great question. If you're familiar with Voxy, that was where I designed and built the technology that we use. I was Voxy's chief education officer for 7 years. And then I founded EnGen specifically to meet the needs of immigrants, refugees, and speakers of other languages in the United States. So we are still using the technology that I designed and built at Voxy. It's white labeled as EnGen. We've added a lot of content and resources to support the needs of English language learners here. But it is the same fundamental, adaptive, personalized English learning platform. I love the questions. Are there any more? Could EnGen be successfully used with ABE level learners who are native English speakers? The short answer to that is yes. The platform is designed for English language learners at every proficiency level, which means that starting at about the intermediate level, the level of language difficulty maps really well to adult basic education standards. You would need to set the navigational language for the platform to English, and that way learners wouldn't be getting translations. Everything would be in English only. And you would want them to start with content at about the intermediate level. And I'm happy to follow up with anybody who would like to talk about this application, because there is so much career focused content. And because the content is broken into very manageable chunks with keywords pulled out and simplified English definitions for technical vocabulary, we've seen it work really well as a resource for learners in ABE settings who are acquiring English literacy skills as a first language. Are there any other questions? I'm happy to answer them, and I'm happy to answer questions from people who want to just speak out loud, assuming I can actually hear. I was having audio issues before. So for pricing and for how to use this, you can reach out to Dan, who is putting information in the chat right now. And Dan, I don't know if you want to chime in with any information.
Thank you, Katie. I really appreciate it. And
Yep, Dan's added a chart that explains the levels.
oh, yes. And can you
There
hear
was
me
a
now?
question from Angela. Okay, good. You're talking. I just can't hear you, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, fortunately, we could hear you. And yeah, I put Elaine's, Elaine Pardick is the representative for Michigan. I put her contact information in there. I'll also put New Readers Press customer service information in chat, and anyone can contact us that way to discuss pricing or the trials or any other questions that you may have.
If anyone else has any questions about program implementation or how to use the platform in a program that already exists, just let me know. We can help with professional development for teachers and onboarding of learners. We have really comprehensive reporting tools so that you can see what learners are doing in the platform, how they're making progress, and use that to inform instruction.
Thank you so much. Stacy, did you want to close us out here?
Sure, I can. So, well, thank you so much for that presentation. That's a good information. Very intriguing program. Especially I was one that asked about the ABE level or using it with the ABE level learners. So that's interesting. I'll keep that in mind. I hope everybody had a wonderful experience. Just a reminder, turn in your sketch forms at the end of the day. And again, this presentation, both the video and the materials, will be available probably next week on our website, on the MACAE website. So I guess it looks like that's it. So, but thank you very much, Katie and Christine and Dan, for joining us. Lots of thanks rolling through the chat bar, but I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you.